on the occasion of Earth Day 2022. This has been a special initiative of the Govardhan Eco Village in Wara, Mumbai, Maharashtra, near Mumbai in Maharashtra. And I would just request all participants to keep yourself on mute because it's disturbing the other participants. Miss Kavita, yes, thank you. Thanks a lot. So let's begin without any further delay. We have waited enough for the participants to all join us. Thank you. So in the series of workshop, we had a workshop on composting, that is how to make our own soil. Soil is a very important constituents of the environment. We ourselves are made up of soil, the five tattva, one of the main five tattvas that our body is made up of. We came from soil and we are going to be soil again. Hence, so to conserve soil is very important because soil is the one important ingredient that helps us give food. Without soil, no food is possible, no flower is possible. So no ecology, no beauty of the nature and no life. Hence, we had a very interesting session on composting, and that is how to make your own soils around a month back. I don't exactly remember. The link of the same was shared on the present group, and hope everybody had gone through it. Now, when we know to make our own soil, so we can now move further and know how to grow beautiful flowers to beautify our houses, our homes, our environment, and the places around us. So without further delay, let's begin. So that is about our flower gardening workshop today. Hope you all enjoy it. So I'll just take you through the basics with the help of this PPT, and thereafter I'll show you how to pot and what is the ideal mix for the soil. I will go through the 10 most common flowers, easy to grow flowers that you can grow through, and what are the requirements, what are the main requirements, how to get it fast and how to get it ready. Hope my voice is clear and I'm audible to all. So let's begin. So to grow plants and to grow flowers, let's gather our containers, and container can be anything. It can be a small pot. I'll be showing you the pot weight later. And very important along with the pot is to check the container for drainage. We need to, I hope you're able to see my pot. My pot is visible. So at the end of the pot, there should be a drainage hole. A hole is also very important in the pot. We need to fill up the container with the potting soil. We need to plant the seed. Water the soil, let the sun shine, the seed grows. Check the pot, turn soil thrice a week, and then a plants grow into flower. So that are the basic requirements of growing flowers. Next, we come to the container. Now 6-inch to 12 or 18-inch deep, depending on the flower type. For example, some of the plants or some of the flowers which are not annual or not seasonal. Sometimes flowers are seasonal, they have a life of 3 to 6 months or 12 months or 1 or 2 years. So the more the life of the plant, the more the deep the roots will be, and hence it needs more place. So depending on the type of plant you are growing or the flower you are planting, you need to have your container 6-inch to 12 to 18-inch. It can be 6-inch like this, a pot of this size, or a pot of this size, or a little more bigger pot. But all pot must have drainage at the end. Potting soil. Now the potting soil needs to be 1 part Coco Peat, 1 part Perlite or vermiculture, But I don't generally believe in vermiculite or vermiculture, because vermiculture sometimes, because in the process of making, it involves maggots and it involves insects, dead bodies. So eggs may be there, and the eggs may lead to the birth of maggots and worms in the pots. Now, earthworms or any microorganism is actually good for the growing of the plant. But I generally don't believe in it, because in the home, especially if it is home, if it is out in the garden, out in the open, it's really wonderful. They'll do wonders to your plants. But if we are doing it in our houses, it's not, I don't advise it, because what happened when we have small containers like this, we have a small container, so the amount of soil that we have inside is limited. And if we have insects inside, the earthworms inside, or any type of microorganisms, they need food, so they feed on the food of the soil. So the food that is to be had to the plants require the food, the plants will not be having it, and the soil will be deprived of the nutrients. Further, if the amount or the quantity, because this microorganism and worms multiply really fast. So once if we have lots of microorganisms of a bigger size, the larvae and the maggots, and they wriggle out of the plants or they wriggle out of the pots, because very easy to come out in search of food actually. So it is a bit messy, and hence I don't prefer doing that. Apart from that, you need a composted bark. Composted bark is nothing but the compost that we make in the house, or you can also have any bark, any dried twigs. For example, this is a dried twig, if you can all see. Now, this is a dried twig of a neem plant. So it has dried and it is brown in color. So we can have this cut into small pieces and leave it for a few months in the soil, and it will compost. 1 part of red or black or any local soil. That is what we require. We require any local soil for that. So half part of red or black or whatever local soil you have. So if we have a container, say if this is our container, then we need half the container of black, red, or any local soil that is local to your area. We need half composted barks, that is dried up barks. We need 1 part of vermicultural perlite that will retain moisture, and 1 part of coco peat. Now, coco peat is processed coconut fiber. Now, this is a block of coco peat. Hope it's visible to all. Now, this coco peat cannot be made at home. This is composed, this is made in factories out of coconut coir, with the coconut hairs that we have. So in YouTube, if you search, or in Google, if you search, there are many do-it-yourself at home methods of making coco peat, but that's not real, because what happened now, see, if I have a block of this 1 kg, this is a 1 kg block. If I dip it in 5 liters of water, the amount of coco peat that I will get out of it will be 5 liters, or almost equivalent to 5 kgs. So this absorbs moisture. The coco peat, the supposed to be coco peat that we make in the house out of coconut fiber by crushing and drying the coconut skin or the coconut hairs, will not absorb water, and it will not retain water. But this coco peat, which are made in factories, and is a special procedure for it, that will absorb the water, that will and multiply like anything. So that's very important. Apart from that, we need sunshine. For any plants to grow, 4 hours, minimum 4 hours of sunshine is very, very important. If you are not having that much of sunshine in your house, you better go for herbs. It's very difficult to grow plants like fruits or vegetables or even flower plants if you have anything less than 4 hours of sunshine. For flowers to grow and bloom beautifully, you need 6 to 8 hours of sunshine. Good quality of potting mix. So I just now showed you the ratio of the potting mix, how it should be. So what are the qualities a good potting mix has? Generally, not in India, but abroad nowadays in India also, we have potting mix ready-made, ready to make packet regarding the potting mix. I'll be coming to it. The questions, you can have the questions on the chat right now. I'll be coming to it and share all your queries and answer all your queries once I end my PPT. So the quality of the good potting mix, it should be right density, porosity, and good aeration. So when we pour water, the water should not be retained by the soil. It should moist the soil, and at the same time, it should drain off. Good water holding capacity, and that's the reason why we are adding coco peat, because coco peat has excellent water retention capacity, proper pH level. It should not be too acidic or too basic. The proper perfect neutral, not the neutral, but pH level as per the requirement of the plant. Some plants prefer acidic, some plants prefer basic soils. Enough nutrients, which are very important for the flower to reach its peak and do, and no salts at all, because salts drain away the water from the plants. Reverse osmosis takes place on the plants, and hence we don't require any salts in the soil. Now, main thing about growing plants is the selection criteria. Which flowers or which plants you will select to grow. So in case of growing flowers, you will select flowers to grow in your balcony, which is local to you, which is indigenous to you. If we are in India, we will opt for roses which are local to India. We will not go for the Holland or the European varieties or the Kashmiri varieties of roses, which are, of course, very beautiful to look at. But then in the weather of Mumbai or Delhi or Chennai or Calcutta, it's not possible to grow Holland roses. Yeah, they look very beautiful in the boutiques and we can buy it from the boutiques, but it's impossible, not impossible, it takes a lot of effort, because if you are successful in growing it once and then with the seeds that we get, if we regrow from the seeds again, the third or the fourth generation of plants that we get, then that generation of plants become local or indigenous to our surrounding. So if it's a white swan, it is possible to grow any plant in our home environment. But it's very difficult and a challenging job. So those who can do it, it's wonderful, they can do it. So, but for the beginners and those who don't want to face failures as such, because very difficult, the plant will be growing, and all of a sudden you find that the time it reaches peak and you are expecting the flowers to come, it doesn't come. So it's really, really very disappointing. So it's better to choose the local flowers of your place. And the species also, which is local to your place. Now, marigold. In India, marigold, any festival is not complete without marigold. So, marigold also, but then we have the French marigold also. But French marigold will not grow so well in India as in France. So, choose a local variety. Now, continual bloom. Proper planning ensures season-long bloom of the flowers, because it will be colorful, your balconies will be colorful, and of course it will be beautiful. Disease and pests. So you choose plants which are not prone to many diseases and pests, and that's the reason why I don't use vermiculture, because then the pest attacks the plants very easily. And match plants need to the climate. So the plants should be matched with the climate. According to the climate, we should plant. The one which grows nice in winter should be sown in winter. One which nice grows in summer, because the mogra or the jasmine, all varieties of jasmine, it is a mogra or ratrani or any other variety, will bloom the best in the monsoon season. So it's better to sow them after, say, Holi festival in the month of Feb or March, right? So we need to match and plant plants as per the requirement or the need of to the climate. So some of the beautiful flowers that we grow in India is the champa or the frangipanis, lotus, jasmine, hibiscus, sunflowers, marigold, white rain lily flowers, rose, and dahlia. These are some of the flowers which I'll take you through. The things that you have to be very sure of or you need to take care of is watering, mulching, fertilizing, annuals every 6, furnace fertilizer every 6 weeks. Perennials annually in spring. We need to proper pruning of plants is required along with deadheading. Now, what is deadheading? When a flower comes on a plant and it dries up, we need to pluck it and throw it away, because if a flower is supposed to is left alone to dry on the plant itself, it will take the nutrients for the better, and new flowers will not come, new buds will not come. So that's required. Division, stocking, and supporting. So now let me take with you, because there's a query about what is mulching. So watering, everybody knows what's watering. Now watering, in India, we have a tendency to just pour buckets of water. No, watering should be such that from the drainage holes, the water should not be coming out. The drains are there for the excess water to come out, but we should be mindful of watering the plants as much as the soil requires. For that, the stick test is the one which I'll show you. That is to be best done. Mulching. Mulching is covering or clothing of the soil. As we cover our body with clothes, similarly, we cover the soil. So mulching is generally done with dry leaves. So what we do on top of the soil, we put dry leaves or dry flowers and cover the soil so that the soil does not dry off, and at the same time the microorganism gets the dry food in the form of dry leaves and dry flowers or whatever, dry barks, dry stems, whatever we mulch the soil with. I hope that's clear. Fertilizer. Now fertilizer also needs to be changed. Now suppose generally in India we have a tendency to use cow dung cakes as fertilizers. But then, suppose if we make potato sabzi every day, we are eating potato curry every day, will we like it? Neither we do, nor our family members would like it. They are like, our children would like, what, potato every day? 1 day, 2 days is fine, but not every day. So similarly, fertilizer also we should keep. The fertilizer is nothing but the food that we provide to the plant. So that needs to be changed. So once if you are giving a cow dung. So next time to mix something else. Now you can give dry tea leaves also, coffee grounds also to the plants as fertilizers. And you can also give tobacco. Yes, tobacco. We don't use tobacco for our personal use, but yes, for the plants is very beneficial. 1 teaspoon and one something like a 12-inch pot, only 1 teaspoon, that much is enough. Maybe once in a 2 or 3 months. So we need to rotate the fertilizers also, not always the same type of fertilizers. Perennials generally once a year, that is in spring at the time when the flowers are supposed to bloom. Pruning is the cutting of the dried shaping of the plant and cutting of the dried twigs and everything. Deadheading is cutting off dead flowers, flowers which has bloomed, lived its life and no longer in bloom. Division, stalking, supporting for the weak things. Division means we need to pluck the apex bud or the tip of the plants at regular interval so that the plant doesn't grow up straight. It diversifies in different direction. Now deadheading, other things are all explainable. So deadheading is something new, I think, or maybe those who are used to gardening know about it. Most annuals and many perennials will continue to bloom throughout the growing season if they are regularly deadheaded. Deadheading is a gardening term used for removal of faded or dead flowers from plants. Deadheading is generally done both to maintain plants' appearance and to improve its overall performance. Now, some of the common flowers that we go, sunflower. So yes, sunflower grows very well in the pots and I have got one right now with me in the balcony. So once I'm done with this, I'll show you my sunflower which just bloomed 2 days back because it was, I think, in a hurry for us to be with a part of this workshop today. So I have got one very nice bloom and the others are blooming, which I was not expecting it to happen, but it just happened today, day before yesterday, and hence I can share that with you. Sunflowers will be perfectly happy growing in a pot. You need to provide them with a container that is right size for a plant. Some varieties of sunflower grow bigger than others, so check the height information on the packet of the seeds or just try it with trial and error. You will learn. If you find that the sunflower is growing more than your pot size, no problem. Transfer it to a bigger pot. Marigold, this bushy carnation, where in any Indian festival is not complete without a torrent of marigold and mango leaves. Everybody's familiar with that. So it's an easygoing plant that bloom really even in direct sunlight, punishing heat and poor to average soil. So no fertilizers required, no proper watering is also not required. Even if the soil is dry, the plant will not die off so soon. Although they are beautiful in the ground, growing in the container is really delightful also. I think we saw the picture of my marigold. Right now I have the plants, but the flowers are not there, expecting it in next month, by next month. So that's the marigold that I had in this pot of mine, which is no longer there. But I'll be planting one soon, maybe today, while demonstrating to you. So that's the sunflowers and marigold. So this is when a sunflower has bloomed and the petals are then I had the seeds collected from the sunflower. So you see the sunflower and me taking out the seeds from my plant. And this seeds can be used to grow the flowers again, which I have used, and you can see how it is. So these are the sunflower seeds, how I have sowed it. You just see the distance here is very less because this is ideal for microgreens. If we are using this sunflower as a microgreen, the amount, this is the distance between which the seeds will be planted, but not for the plant. And how it erupts and it sprouts. So that's the picture of the sunflower and how it blooms. So you have a small bud, then the bud goes bigger, many other buds, and the beautiful petals from green, it turns to beautiful yellow plant. So that's the journey of my sunflower plant, which I'll show you soon. That was last year. Again, this year I have it again. So different varieties of sunflower in my balcony. Another very common and beautiful colorful plants are the hibiscus and the dahlias. So hibiscus is suspected to pests, and many people, I have got many queries after my previous workshops regarding the difficulty in the growing of hibiscus plants. So I have some troubleshooting done. So I'll once on the group, I'll send you if anybody is facing some difficulty, I can help them out. So it's hibiscus is a very common flower, can be made into teas and etc. It grows best in full sun. Tropical hibiscus needs moist but well-drained soil. Perennial hibiscus grows well in moist soil but never completely dries out. Dahlias also grow well in pots. Now you get step-by-step instructions for growing of all in the notes. Dahlias grows well in pot, though you need to be very careful not to let them repeatedly dry out. They also need to be regularly fertilized during the growing season, and many will need to be stacked so that you don't fall over. It is also a good idea to taller varieties in heavy pots so a stiff wind will not blow them over. Another very useful plant is the Parajita or the Shankrapushpi. The Shankrapushpi is very beneficial for brain power, and tea is also very tasty, the blue tea, and it's non-toxic and does not have any side effects. So it's one of the medicinal plant, you can say, or the medicinal flowers, a flower with medicinal property. Lotus, yes, you can grow lotus in your balconies too, but you need to have a pot with no holes. So no drainage for lotus. Lotus grows in ponds and flowers and in water, so no holes required. Selecting the potting mix is ideal. That is on the muddy side. So river mud is the best to grow lotus. We don't need, and that compost is not required. The bark compost is not required. And a coco peat is also not required for growing lotus. The muddy river soil is the best for growing lotuses. So we need to have a correct size of pot. We need to select the best kind of soil. And the leaf growth, as I told you, the pruning was necessary in stocking for the plant to not grow straight and bloom around. But for lotus, we will not cut the apex of bud, the apical bud. We gently place the tuber on the top of the soil, cut the end to the side. We cover it at the amount of soil, top up with water of the growing tip, place it in full sun and fertilize once first standing of the leaf grows. Now, this is a method of growing lotus. Lotus seeds are easily available at any grocery store. So are the sunflower seeds. But sunflower seeds, when you go to buy at the grocer's place, tell them not to give you the roasted variety, because the roasted variety is the one that we eat. But this is not for eating purpose, for growing purpose. So take the unroasted variety of sunflower seeds. Now, there's a special method described over here. We need how to grow lotus. I'll just describe it. So these are the lotus seeds. It has two parts. The sharp end if you can see my cursor, and the flat end. Okay, so we need to rub it. We need to rub it on the, say, sandpaper or a hard surface. Place it in the glass and you'll see the sprouts coming. Here you see the sprouts coming. Pour it in the glass of water. After 7 days, you see a shoot coming. This is after 15 days, the shoot comes like this. And that's after 35 days. Now, this is the time when you need to plant it in the clay, muddy river soil. And you will be. Another calendula cream, everybody must have used it at one point of time. Any skin related problems, sunscreen, sunburns, anything, we have calendula. Now, calendula needs plenty of sunlight. It can be positioned under a little shade during hot summer months. It is advisable to grow in a plate with proper sunlight during the day. And you need to have like 2 to 4 inches of organic compost in the soil when it is in the growing stage, in the sapling stage, after it has sprouted. Water is not much of a requirement. It can grow in a low water condition and regular irrigation, and only 1 to 1.5 inch of water every week. You must regularly check the underside of calendula leaves for pests like whiteflies, which has a tendency to gradually ruin the plant by promoting the formation of molds. So that is not only for calendula, but most of the plants, every plants need proper care and inspection on a daily, if not daily, on a weekly basis. If any black spots, white spots, coloring, change of color of leaves you see, try to troubleshoot. Why is that? Why is the plants been attacked by a disease or whatever it may be? But calendula, you need to check it more regularly, and so does hibiscus. Now, Parajita, I told you, is a wonderful herb. Many benefits of Parajita. Now, it's a perennial herb with an average height of 2 to 3 inches in height. Leaves are oblong, having light blue color, which you put it in warm water. Add a dash of lemon, and then you have a wonderful blue tea to drink. So that's Parajita. The temperature required is 30 to 35 degrees centigrade, and when the flowers are there, it's 18 to 28 degrees. Harvesting is done anytime between Jan and May. After, you will get the first flower after about 45 to 90 days of first sowing it. The flowering starts in the month of October, and then the seeds develop and you get pods of seeds. I'll just display and show it to you. I have one. I'll just get it for you all. Butterfly plant needs care, is definitely involved in plants, required very little attention. It's a creeper sort of plant. So you just plant it and it will grow. But we need to water the plant regularly during the first growing season. No overwatering. Spurred butterfly pea vines are drought tolerant and once established require supplement irrigation only during the periods of hot, dry weather. Pinch the growing tips, which we are not to do while growing lotus, but in this plant, yes, to give a bushy growth. Chamomile flowers are the potential to treat your muscle cramps naturally, and hence a tea would be very refreshing, and especially to women, because after the tiring day of tending to kids and husbands and house from early morning to late night, our body tends to ache a lot. So the chamomile tea would take care of that. Now, this plant can be grown indoor. Only 3 to 4 hours of sunlight is necessary. So if you're getting, say, less than 4 hours, something around 2 hours of sunlight also, it's not much of an issue. You can easily grow this plant. To achieve a healthy growth, the potting soil should be moist. It should not be drained. But at the same time, water should not be accumulated. The soil, when you squeeze the soil, the water should not fall off. The water should drain off. At the same time, it should be retained moisture, and here's where coco peat comes into picture. Now, while chamomile usually does not attract pests, but you should keep an eye for the common specks like mealybug, which are cottony structures. It looks exactly like cotton, but when you pluck them or when you touch them, it is very sticky. So to avoid mealybugs, we need to fertilize this plant at least once a month. So this is one of my acquaintance who grows various flowers in her terrace in India. So that's a picture from her park. So that was all about it. So hope that journey was fine. And now regarding the question, I'll just take the questions, the queries that I have. Yeah, what should be the intensity of sunlight? The normal intensity of sunshine that is there in your area. It should not be too extreme. Now, suppose if you're not in India, in a desert country or in a country in a Gulf countries, Middle East countries, where the temperature tend to rises around, say, more than 45 and goes up to 50, not that much. We need something around 40 degree, not more than 40 degree. Mulching, I explained. Yes, I'll show my sunflowers. Just be with me. I would just request the admin to spotlight me so I can show them. That's the marigold. Can you see? If you see this carefully from the marigold seeds, these leaves are coming. So those are the new marigold plants. A little bit marigold. And here my sunflower. This is in the bud stage. Still budding. There you go. And here, one more. Let's change the direction. One more over here. One more budding there. And these are the marigolds still coming up. These are the marigold saplings. If you see, you observe this coming up from the seed. Now, regarding the soil, is my voice okay now? Is it audible? Am I audible? Okay, thank you. Now, so as I was telling you all, this is the coco peat that I showed you all. So when you soak it in water, it crumples. It crumples and we get something like this. Now this is a dry thing, but we need to wet it. Fine, so this is how we take. Now if we have a container of say this size, as I told you, 50% should be the local soil. So this is my local black soil. Local black soil that I have half the container. Now to this, I mix coco peat, 1/3 part. So this is my coco peat and this is my cow dung cake. So all this, so I'm not exactly demonstrating it right now, but this is what we need to mix up. So all this needs to be mixed up very nicely. I think I'll show you the demonstration. We still have the time. So this is my soil. So This is a little more, so I'll take it off. So with my soil, I mix the coco peat. You can wear gloves, or you can just simply soil your hands. It's a wonderful activity. When you do that, a special kind of hormone molecule is secreted by the body, which is responsible for the happiness level. So this is my pot having a drainage hole. Can you see the hole? I think the hole is visible now. Yes. So the hole is there. Now, before I do that, I put some stones or something. Sorry for the interruption. So now when I'm putting it, I can put some dry leaves or something at the bottom of my pot, just for the good aeration. I can also put some stones out there. If I have some dry leaves or something, I put it. If I have some dry hair or something, I put it at the bottom. So now what happens if I'm not planting a tiny plant, but I'm sowing the seeds as it is? By the time the seeds grow and the leaves reach the bottom, this will be made into compost, providing the natural fertilizer. Some more of dry flowers that I have. Now, this is the mixture of my soil and coco peat that I have. With this, I mix a bit of, not this, but 1/4 of this cow dung. So this is my cow dung. So this I will sample it into powder. Make a nice powder. Now the best, I have kept it dry to demo or to demonstrate. But ideally, you should soak, the coco peat should also be wet, and this cow dung should also be wet. Not wet exactly, you should soak it in water and then crumble and mix it. So that's better for mixing, but it's okay. I hope this is clear, because then you will not have lumps like this, but it will be a complete powder if it is soaked. So now this is how my soil should be mixed up all, right? You see, it is, if you can see, it is moist enough. But if I squeeze it, it's making a ball, but the water is not squeezing out on my hand. This is the texture or amount of moisture that the soil should always have. No overwatering. Most of the plants die because of overwatering. The flowers doesn't bloom, the fruit doesn't come, all because of overwatering. That is the main enemy of plants. Water is required, but not in excess. So now I have this pot of mine ready. Compost. this is my setting of my pot. You can make it as tiny as possible. So this is done. Now, see, this is the marigold necklace or toran that we have at the time of festivals. Now, when it is dried enough, this can be used as seeds. This doesn't have, but this black one. You see this black part? These are the seeds. So seeds develop. Sometimes this may not be black color. So then the seed is not there. The flower has not matured enough to make seeds. We don't need so much of it. Excuse me for that. And this is not so many, but a couple of them, like this much. This much would be enough, that we would just spread it on top of the pot and then sprinkle soil over it. The potting soil that we made can be sprinkled over it. Now, mulching, as I was telling you, is nothing but not required at this stage, but when it sprouts, when the plant has, when the seeds have sprouted, we can use dried twigs or bark or twig, make it and break it into small pieces and cover the soil with it. We can use leaves also, dry leaves also, or anything to cover the soil as such. So that is what it is all about today, about flowers. So this is how you will sow not only flowers, but any plants that needs to be sowed in the pot. This is how we will do it. Thank you. We can have the spotlight off. Now, any queries, any questions? The question here I am seeing, what is the purpose of perlite? Again, to retain moisture. One minute, I'll take the chat from above. Intensity of sunlight, I told you. Sunflower, I showed. Cameron, I have the method. I'll send you on my notes. Generally 3 months. You should be knowing, or you should, wherever you buy the seeds from, the packets have the growing season. So how many months? So generally, depending upon the blooming time, some flowers bloom after 1 year, some after 2 months, some after 1 month. The sunflower that I showed you bloomed after a period of something around 2 months. That was sowed in the month of March. So March is gone and April 1.5. So almost 1.5 to 2 months, depending upon the plant you are. The marigold will take 3 months to bloom. The marigold that I showed you, the tiny ones are already 1 month old. And the one with the sunflower pot that you saw on my other pot with sunflower, that is something like, yeah, it was sown at the same type of sunflower seeds, and marigold seeds were planted together, sowed together. So sunflower usually has already bloomed and marigold are yet too young. So it depends upon flower to flower and their life cycle. What is the purpose of putting the stone? The stone will not put at the hole as such, so that it doesn't block the hole, but it covered the hole. So for example, if the amount of water that we are pouring is more, then what happens? The soil will run out from the hole, and along with the soil, the nutrients will also be washed away. So if the stone is there, or if the hole is covered, we want the drainage to be there, but at the same time, we don't want the nutrients to drain away, and hence it is like that. I hope that was clear. So that is the purpose of stone. The purpose of stone to retain, to not let the soil drain to. That is the purpose of it. Putting a stone. Coco Peat, there's no brand which I have with me right now which says Nature's Plus. So no particular brand, whichever brand is available, it's fine enough. Will they flower by June? Yes, of course, they will flower by June because the one which are sowed by, say, 1st March. So 1st March to today, say 23rd April, 1 and 2 months. Yes, perfect. So if you sow it now, it's May and June, it will grow. Yeah, that are all the queries that we have. So I hope you all enjoyed this workshop of mine. Any other queries anyone have? You can unmute yourself if it's possible, and anyone want to ask any questions, I am open to questions. So that's it for the day today. I hope you all enjoyed it. So hope that was useful to you. And any queries, I am available on the group. And tomorrow again, we have another workshop coming up. Sunflower grows in all places. Yes, you need to have the right temperature and sunlight, of course. Anyone have any other questions? I'm presently based in Dubai. Basically, I'm from Mumbai. But presently, I'm based in Dubai. So in Dubai, also sunflowers are possible. So anyone from GCC area over here, it will be possible. Lot many people from America in the group +1, but I'm not sure whether they are joining it right now or not. But yes. So thank you all. That's all for the day today. I will hope you all join me again tomorrow for another session. And please encourage your friends and family to join us too. Thank you. That's nice to know, Ms. Nurupama. Yes, sunflower really brightens up our day. Marigold hot weather. Weather suitable is hot, same as Mumbai, hot and cold. Winter, not too extreme winter, but extreme heat is fine. Till 42 degree, 43 degree is perfectly fine. Thank you all. I'm leaving. I hope there are no other questions and queries, and I'll share the notes how to grow each of the flowers that I explained you on the group. Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a nice day and weekend.